Alright, so I got a Xbox One something, and I want to point out, it's an Xbox One S. Now I want to point out to y'all, this right here. I'm fairly certain somebody's been in this before, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to work, but we will give it a try. So we'll start by applying some good old voltage to this thing. I heard a little, so that means we should be good. So what happens when I press the power button? Okay, so it hadn't went off yet. Oh, it just went off. So it's like a 10-second deal or something. Bruh. Oh man. Alright, so let me show you this. Tell me what you see down that USB port. That does not look healthy. And this is from somebody who wears glasses. Oh, let's go this way. Oh man, it amuses me how these things get into the condition that they're in. Let's I don't know, to the naked eye, the USB or the HDMI ports don't look bad. So I guess we'll take it apart and see what we got going on. It looks like maybe we're missing some screws. What y'all think? Y'all think we're missing some screws? It looks like we pretty much missing all the screws. Oh, I'm breaking it, y'all. I say I'm breaking it, but really, this thing was already broken. It's glued together, man. I guess this is probably as far as somebody made it, because they were like, dude. Alright, there we go. Yeah, it's just glued, man. Yeah, so it looks like somebody yeah, that is funny, man. That is amusing. Alright. So, what do we got here? We have a hard drive. What size hard drive is that? 500 gigabyte. It couldn't even be a terabyte. It's probably bad. This come out of here? Do I have to? You know what? Let's just do this. Alright, that's out. Let's take the disk drive out. Disk drive is out. Alright, so far I'm not seeing any liquid damage. How does this come out? Alright, how do you come out, bro? So that's one way of getting it out, huh? Alright, how do you come out of here? So this has to come off. Alright. Alright. That's out. Alright. Alright, let's see if our 12 volts is shorted. I don't think it is, but you never know. No, 3K. Yeah, so let's take this X clamp off and see what we have. We'll use a pair of regular old scissors. Alright. Flip it back over. Let's take this out. So it doesn't look bad, you know. I mean, it really doesn't. It's this right here that's looking kind of rough. This this port. If we look at that under the microscope, I'll show you what it looks like under that. I mean, I don't see any pins touching, you know. You would think that if the pins were touching, and that could probably definitely cause some issues, but yeah, I don't think that, I don't know, it does not seem to be bad. The board doesn't look bad at all, other than that one USB port. The ports on the back, like I said, they don't, I mean, we could look under the microscope and see. No, those ports, I mean, these USB ports are fine. I guess we could try taking that USB port off and then seeing what it does without that on there. It's one thing we can try to do. I don't think it's overheating. Hard drive could be bad, I suppose, but I don't know if that would give you that 10-second fault or whatever. I don't know how to approach this one. Dude, that is nasty, bro. I wonder if that fan even works. Let's put our X clamp back on. I'm gonna use my X clamp removal tool, you know. Alright, I did not see the fan twitch. You would think that I would see the fan twitch, right? Yeah, it gets going and then it turns off. Alright, so it attempts to boot, but then it does not, because it detected the HDMI. Could it have a bad hard drive? Could that cause this? Unlike last time, this time, I think that's a pretty easy thing to check. Alright, new hard drive installed. See if it does anything different. No, did the exact same thing. We are going to apply some low melt to this port and remove it from the Xbox. Alright, so I think that I should be able to come with some hot air and wiggle that bad boy out of there. Alright, it's off. So if the USB were causing a problem, I should be able to turn it on now to see if that made a difference. I don't know if it did, but we will see. I would assume this thing would boot up with missing that USB port. Of course, then again, this is an Xbox, and Microsoft, they, everything has to be, or it won't boot up. All right, let's see if anything changes now. No, it did not change. Okay, so what else could be the issue? It starts to produce video and then turns off. So I guess we can start at video. We can check and look at this HDMI port under the microscope and see what it looks like. What is that? That looks weird, man. Okay, let's remove all this stuff and get closer. First, let's unplug power. Looks like there's some corrosion on that port right there. So let's clean that. Let's try to let's make sure that we have continuity. I mean, I'm pretty sure we do, but I'd rather be able to say, yep, you check that. Yeah. We do not have continuity on the one next to it. I suppose I should have checked continuity prior to cleaning it, but I didn't think about it, So let's try to get this back together. Alright, everything's plugged in. Well, let's see if it stays on any longer now. I did not. I mean, the processor feels like it's getting warm. Yeah, I can feel the processor getting warm. Alright, so it's the next day, and yesterday when we tested this, it would cut on for like 5 seconds, attempt to put video out, and then it would turn off. But this morning when I checked it, it's fast on off. So I press the button, it cuts on, cuts right back off really quick. So then when I measure my 12 volt line, now I'm good. Just 2 seconds ago it was shorted. Literally 2 seconds ago. That read 0 ohms. I checked it multiple times. And then I went through and probed all of these MOSFETs. And now it's no longer shorted. Dude, this console is kind of strange, man. Well, let's plug it back in and see what happens. Now we're back to the original fault. Kinda. Yesterday the fan would start spinning. But today oh, you know what? Let's plug in the I'm not sure if you have to have this plugged in or not for it to work. So yeah, so the symptoms have changed. They have changed from turning it on, the fan starts to spin, to now to beep on, beep off, and now we're back to beep on and then off. So I'm thinking that I don't think it's a power supply. I think it's perhaps one of the MOSFETs. Something's getting ready to go bad. Because why else would it short, you know? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I will continue to ponder this and see what's going on. So I was looking at the board under the microscope and I found a component that is not, I don't know where this component goes. Matter of fact, I'm not actually sure that's a component. I don't know what that is, if I'm being honest. And it kind of looks like a capacitor, you know? But then that side of it doesn't look like a capacitor. You know what? I don't think it's anything. Another thing I noticed too is normally you get like a bump on the fan, and I wasn't getting the bump on the fan when I plugged it in, and normally you will, or at least from other ones I've worked on. I mean, it looks like something spilled right there. That MOSFET looks a little different. It's not shorted because I checked. I think this is just it's just dirt and dust. Well, that dirt and dust is not coming off. I think it's might have to get some water and try to get some of that off there. But I mean, I don't see anything obvious like something blew up. This controls the voltage. Looking erosion right here, huh? I don't think that's healthy, man. This thing is so dirty, dude. That component does not look healthy. Might have to change that. Got some corrosion right here. So I think that component definitely may need, well, I don't know. I'm assuming that's a resistor. So the only place I found what looks like liquid actually spilled and got on the board through the fan was this area right in here. So I'm going in with a cotton swab and some water, and I'm trying to get it off. I just can't get in between those caps right there. But it didn't look like anything was corroded necessarily in this area. But you could tell all these resistors across all of the voltage rails for the CPU, they all measure 1 ohm, and then the ones down beneath these are 2 ohm, or I guess they're supposed to be 2.2 ohm. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the board doesn't seem to have been affected by the spill very much at all. It seemed like it all collected around the fan. These all, while they look kind of gross, they all, like that one right there measures at like 5K. I mean, I don't know what the value's supposed to be, but it's not like it's open. Down in here, those two look pretty hideous. They look pretty bad, but they're measuring some sort of resistance. I might take and put some flux down and heat those up a little bit. Maybe boil, make sure they're making good connection, but I think that they are. I went around all of the RAM ICs. Perhaps, well, these look like there's a little bit of, maybe I should flux boil. Yeah, so some liquid looks like it got down here on some of these. Trying to do this while using the microscope is difficult because you keep bumping into the microscope, shaking the daggone camera. I mean, I could try heating up these RAM ICs, put some flux down, heat them up, and then give them a bump, make sure everything is making good connection underneath. So yeah, so I think what I'll do is I'll put some flux down and heat up those two, and maybe put some flux down and put some heat on those RAM ICs and see what happens. So if I measure from my memory to ground, I'm sitting at about 32 ohms, which from what I remember on a working board, that was about right. What do I get from my graphics? So we're getting about 0.6 ohms, so about 1 ohm to my GFX core, and that is that normal? I don't know if that's normal or not. Seems kind of low. Alright, we touched up some solder joints. I heated up the RAM ICs that had liquid on them. So we're going to cut it on and see what happens now. I suppose I should plug in the, whatever this thing's called, the disk drive. Alright, so let's give it a try and see if it stays on this time. Okay, we're back to fan spinning. Oh, it cut back off. Maybe I need to press down on the power on the fan. Keep it cool. Nope, it's cutting back off, but at least we got the fan spin back. It's okay, now it's staying on. Do we have any video? No way, dude. No way. What on earth? Oh, we need to cut this off. Okay, so you guys tell me what that's all about. Why is the disk drive causing... That's weird, man. So initially when I plug this in, the fan would start spinning, it would cut off. So the very first thing I did was remove the disk drive and try it without the disk drive. It still cut off. So after goofing off trying a different hard drive, that didn't help nothing. I went on and I started removing corrosion from the board. And so I heated up the RAM ICs, the two that had liquid damage, had liquid on top of them. I heated those up and flux boiled them basically. I heated up a couple of resistors. I cleaned up some MOSFETs, some of the liquid around MOSFETs. So now it wants to boot without the disk drive, but it won't boot with the disk drive. So that is, yeah, so I guess I'll have to figure that out. Alright, so I pondered this. The issue I was having in the last clip, or at least I can't remember what I last recorded, but essentially when I would the console's acting strange in the sense that it like sometimes boots. One time I got it to boot all the way up to the person who owned this before me's profile. But initially I thought there was something wrong with the disk drive because I had got it to cut on and stay on, and then I put the disk drive in, pressed the power on button, and then it shut off. And so I said, well, maybe there's something wrong with the disk drive. But then I started getting to various phases of the boot. So for example, if I plug this in and I turn it on, it cuts off pretty soon. But then I might cut it on again and it might cut on and stay on for 15 seconds. So my thought process is that perhaps the power supply is failing under load. So I ordered a new power supply from Amazon. But as you can see, does this look like a new power supply? It does not. This is not a new power supply. This is a used power supply with dust on it that I'm assuming hopefully they repaired. So let's put this new power supply in here and see if this makes a difference. Let's cross our fingers. Hopefully my logic will sound. My logic was not sound, so it's still got an issue. So then the only other thing that I can think of is those MOSFETs that feed voltage to the CPU. That's the only other thing I can think of. I really do hate intermittent problems, man. I really, really do. They're some of the most annoying things of all time. Alright, back to the drawing board. Alright, so let me tell you a story. So when I checked all of this stuff, I noticed that there was that liquid that had spilled. There was some liquid in this area. There was some liquid over here in this area. There was liquid around these two RAM ICs. And so what I did was I flux boiled the board. And it's been a while since I recorded this specific console, so I can't remember what the last thing I did was. But anyhow, so I decided that when it was, sometimes it would boot, sometimes it would not boot, sometimes it'd boot all the way into the menu. I said, well, it didn't start doing that. That actually fixed it and allowed me to boot until I started heating up this RAM. So I decided I was going to reflow the RAM and give it a little bump, you know what I'm saying? Well, the problem is I think I maybe bumped these things too far. I got a little aggressive with the bumping, you know, because I am 110% man. So I think I bumped it too hard, and I'll show you. Now it's just beep on, beep off. And if we check our RAM, I'm going to go from ground to my MemIO. You'll notice that it's a short. So I ended up shorting under either this one, or this one. One of those RAM ICs I ended up shorting. So I did what any normal man would do. I decided I'm going to try to reflow, or try to extract that RAM chip and reball it. Now, I have never in my life reballed anything. I have no idea. I have no idea what sizes I need. So I just ordered a big pack of solder balls, and I'm not sure. I'm hoping that maybe it'll be intuitive once I look at the chip under the microscope. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to attempt to do. I doubt very seriously I'm going to be able to accomplish it. I don't know how much heat you can put on these things before they're done. I don't know any of that, so I'm completely lost as to how this is supposed to be done. So, but we're going to do it nonetheless. It's good practice anyways, right? So we'll put some flux along this chip, and we are going to attempt to just pluck it right off once I heat it up. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Like I said, I don't have a lot of hope. I just sometimes wonder, like, how much heat is too much heat on a device. You know, I don't know. I don't know how to gauge that. I don't know how to judge it. I mean, I see people like Soren from Electronic Repair School. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, I've seen him do processors with no, these are on laptops obviously, but anyhow, he's way more experienced than I am, so this would probably be simple for him. But all right, the chip is off. All right, so I'll go under the microscope for that part. So let's try to wick that away. Try not to drag the wick across the pads, because I don't want to tear anything. So I'll check that with a Q-tip and some IPA to see how it looks. Now I still see solder balls on that. So we got to, just don't know how gentle or rough to be, you know. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I don't think there's anything bad. So let's check the resistance on the MemIO and see if our short's gone, because that was the one that I really bumped super hard. Hopefully that's the only one I need to do. So I'm going to ground. Nope, it's still shorted. So I'll take the other chip off as well. Before I started heating up the RAM, I was reading about 34 ohms there. Yeah, it's still shorted. So let's take this other chip off. All right, let's measure. Let's measure the resistance and see if we're back up to like 34 ohms or whatever. Oh, I can't see. I can't see the yeah, so we're at 38 ohms, right? So that's so it was this one that I bumped too far when I did this. So all right, so that's good. That's good. So now the key is going to be to move the board out of the way. We're going to grab this little deal here, and we are going to try and figure out how to do this. This is going to be a little difficult, y'all. Alright, so let's put some flux on the chip. I really should have spent the money to buy one of those chip holder things, but I was like, oh, you know, I'll be able to work my way through it without spending the extra. I'm just trying to show you all the struggle, you know. Yeah, that's not gonna work, dude. That's not gonna work. So we are gonna take this, move these out of the, okay, bro, get off of it. All right, let's hope that is gonna do the trick for me. Yeah, you could tell there was corrosion under here. I think that's gone, man. I think that piece is, or those traces are gone. Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to dig too hard there, but that just looks like there's nothing left right there. More corrosion right here. Let's try this other one and see what it looks like on the bottom. Yeah, see, so currently I see all of the pads. So let's clean that off real quick. Let's go closer. So okay, so that's the difference, man. That's the difference right there. I mean, you saw how the other chip looked, and then you see how this one looks. This one was hit with, the liquid got underneath that RAM chip. That's what it was. And then when I heated it up, it kind of semi-fixed the issue. So I think if I can find RAM chips that are the same as this, I guess they have to be I'm assuming they have to be all the same. So if I can find that, then I think, and then I can figure out how to reball properly. And then I can figure out how to solder those back on correctly. That's a lot of things to figure out, but if I can do all of those things, hey, this thing should work. Because I think that was the only thing wrong with it. It's like I said, one time I got it to boot all the way up into the Xbox dashboard. Well, I suppose I could go ahead and try to reball this, huh? Alright, so this is a 0.3 solder ball, and they're pretty daggone small. And this is a 0.6. And they are also pretty freaking small. So I don't know which one to use. I'm going to try to research this again and see if I can figure out what the correct. I got 0.35. I don't know. I don't know what to use. I don't know if the solder ball is supposed to take up that whole space, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know what it's supposed to do. That's what happens when you've never done something. Let's try these 0.35. I'm going to put a little flux on my tweezers. I've got a few. Those seem a little bit small, don't they? this is ridiculous. This is extremely. Yeah, I think those are too small. So, not that I have any real way of determining that, but so let's try 0.45 millimeters. Okay, we might be onto something here. I'm gonna wipe the chip down with some flux. So I've got some flux on there. I don't want too much because then it's just gonna create a pool. Okay, so let's get this back in here like so, and then let's take all right. That might be a little bit too much flux, y'all. Alright, everything's on there. So now I need to put a small nozzle, set my heat down to like 370, air pressure or air flow on super duper low. Here goes nothing. That took like 45 minutes. Oh, air pressure needs to go back down. Actually, the air blew some of it around. So I gotta fix it. Well, that kind of worked. I kind of got this one's too big. There's a couple of them that are too big. I think some of my solder balls got blew off. I'm not sure that worked like I wanted it to. So it's my first time trying to reball a chip, and I bought this get up here, but it doesn't have the template for Xbox One RAM. So I am attempting to use what I have to do this, and it involves a lot of me shoving solder balls around with, by hand. So it's tedious and time consuming, but I'll eventually get it done. I did practice on one, this one right here, and I did pretty good. I used 0.45 millimeter solder balls. So I pulled RAM off of another board I had that has a shorted north or south bridge, and it's a different type RAM, and I don't know if it matters or not, but I'm gonna reball it, solder it on, and see what happens. But anyhow, so that's what we're gonna try to fix this Xbox, and we will get there eventually. Alright, so all the solder balls are on there, so I am going to use 380 degrees Celsius. I'm going to set my air speed to 4, and I'm going to hold it like 6 inches away until all of the solder balls are in place and stick. I usually have to do this about 18 times, so we'll see. We'll see if we can get it on the first try. I suppose the more you do this, the better you get at it, so we'll see. Like, you see that one? It just skipped. That's what makes this difficult, is the fact that these solder balls like to scooch around. Let's fix that. Let's fix that. Let's try it again. Cut the airspeed down a little bit. If I raise the camera up, I can get higher and come in at more of a top-down approach. I think that is good, except for one maybe. Yeah, one solder ball blew off. Ridiculous. So now I gotta fight to get the one on there. Oh, you know what? It linked with the one next to it, didn't it? That one looks a little bit bigger than the other. Alright, I think it's on there. So we'll let that cool down, clean it up, and be good to go. So I'm going to go on the principle that this thing needs to be centered in that box. And this is a Skynix RAM IC. It is not a whatever the brand that's currently on there. I don't know what brand that is. I can't tell by the name. I tried to look it up, but anyhow, I hope it works with. And why would it? I know RAM's kind of finicky in the PC, so I'm assuming it's probably finicky in this as well. Alright, so hopefully that'll hold right there. And I'm going to hope to be able to get my hot air station. I don't have any. I need to get some of those crooked nozzles, but I don't have any. So we're going to try airflow set to 4 out of 10 or 8. So we'll heat it up like this until I see it hopefully pop into place. Unless of course I got it perfect on my first try. Yeah, I think it's on there. I think it is on there. Pretty cool, man. So now we're going to do the same thing with the other one. Yep, I saw it pop into place. So that's the key, man. Leave it a little bit crooked so you can see it pop into place. Oh, you know what I should have done before I did all of this? I should have measured resistance on the RAM I/O. So let's measure from ground to our memory and see if make sure we don't have a short. Okay, we'll wait for it to cool down. We should have what, 34 ohms? That's what we had originally. All right, it's back together. It's cooled down. So this is the test. Will it work and stay on? Here we go. Oh, that sucks, dude. That sucks. But we're back. At least I got it back to the original fault. I just can't figure out what the fault is. Not the power supply. Unless, of course, you can't mix and match Skynix RAM with whatever other type of RAM is on there. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, in the past the fan was spinning, but now the fan's not even spinning. So, and of course I don't know how much heat RAM can tolerate. I don't know any of those things. But yeah, so I gave it my all on this, man. I don't know. Maybe you guys know. Maybe you can leave a comment and point me in the right direction, because I don't really know. But anyhow, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.